Hello, guys, and welcome back to House Edge. We're talking college football week 9. How you doing, Bert?
Doing good, doing good. We both went 1-2 last week, but I cashed a parlay in college.
Yeah, man, getting on the board.
Finally, yep, one in each now.
Let's go. So we're starting off. We got one common play here. We're going to be taking Indiana minus 6.5 versus Washington.
Cash cow.
Yeah, man, this is one of the best stories in college football. I mean, it all starts from the press conference, and he says, "How you gonna recruit? I win games. Google me." And he's
Yeah,
done nothing but that.
he has
Um,
not lost. So
And honestly, the Washington, their key win here is beating Michigan. And I don't know if they play that game again on a neutral site or at Michigan if Michigan wins. Washington is pretty bad.
yeah, Washington, not a good team. This line is kind of disrespectful for the number. I believe they're 13 team in the country now. They're 6-0. Really, no game has been close. Last week, Nebraska, that was supposed to be a close game. They blew them up by 49. I think that they'll beat Washington by 3 touchdowns. Their quarterback did have surgery on his thumb right after the game this week, so we'll see what happens there. But it was a successful surgery, apparently.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's good reporting. Oh man, so I can get into my plays. I'm taking Pitt minus 6.5 versus Syracuse. Pitt's coming off a win against Cal where they struggled, but I think it's an anomaly for them. They just have one bad game. And Syracuse, I mean, they've been a little lackluster, struggling against North Carolina State, who is probably the worst team in the ACC. I take Pitt to win this by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, did Cal last week lose to North Carolina State?
Oh.
I
And
think I'm gonna look this up real quick.
no, Cal played Pitt.
Uh, NC State beat Cal last week, 24-23 at Cal.
Oh,
And I don't know. Well, I think that says a little bit more about Cal than it does NC State, with Cal being at by themselves at the bottom of the Pac-12 now. So, uh, yeah, it's Pittsburgh definitely a better team than Syracuse. I really don't know how to use that NC State caliber anymore. If they are the worst team or if Cal's the worst team, but this was a stay away for me just because I thought, Pittsburgh might squeak this out 3-point win and then you get caught holding 3.5 points. But I still like Pitt to win this game.
yeah, absolutely. And then I'll be taking Texas minus 19 versus Vandy. I know Vandy beat Alabama, but I think that's going to be the highlight of their season. And Texas has to get back after losing to Georgia by so much. Um, this defense will play better. That offense will play better, and they'll beat Vandy.
Yeah, Georgia was through and through the better team on Saturday. Both sides of the ball. Carson Beck could throw interceptions, and it just didn't matter. They were going to win that football game no matter what. The refs were working against them. Didn't matter. Vandy's a ranked team for the first time that I can remember in my lifetime watching college football. I've never seen Vanderbilt ranked. But Texas, like you said, they're going to want to come back after an embarrassing loss. I can see them winning this by 30 plus.
Absolutely. And my last play is not a play for this week, but I think everybody should have this ticket in by at this point. I'm going to take Ashton Genty to win the Heisman at plus 200. We're witnessing Barry Sanders for his second coming,
Yeah.
and you need a ticket in.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's the greatest show in college football. If Boise State continues at the rate they're going, and their only loss currently is against the number one team in the country, if he keeps this up, he shows himself in the playoffs as well, he's going to win the Heisman. I agree.
Absolutely. And right now he's matched with Cam Ward, who's also plus 200 in the Heisman. And I don't know about Miami. I just think they're going to lose a game somewhere. I can't point out when that game's going to be,
Yeah.
but they just keep doing these. I mean, unless they're the comeback kids, they just keep coming back. But I just have to think that they're going to lose a game
Yeah,
somewhere
this
here.
was the first week that they didn't have to come back this past week, and Yeah, I can't trust Miami. I don't know what it is. They're gonna slip up somewhere. They don't have to play a ranked team all season for the rest of their season until they get to the ACC championship game, and maybe there they won't have to as well if the rest of the ACC falls apart. But speaking of championship games, I'm going to change the topic real quick to something I read today that is very interesting. Currently, Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon are all undefeated in the Big Ten. They do not play each other, and they can all finish the season undefeated. Who do you put in the title game? This is a mistake that the Big Ten made and did not consider when they expanded the way they did and got rid of the divisions. They need to have divisions. It is not possible to do it the way that they're doing it right now. It will lead to
be a Big Ten tiebreaker.
There definitely is a tiebreaker, but whatever that tiebreaker is, I don't like it. I don't care what it is. I want one of those teams to have a loss guaranteed. I believe there's like a 0.7% chance that they all do go undefeated. Very, very small chance. And it's mostly because of us. We're probably not beating Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get through Ohio State. That's going to be a big challenge for us.
But it could happen where 3 teams are undefeated at the end of this Big Ten season. It could happen.
So I just looked it up, pulled it up. So the first tiebreaker is the head-to-head matchup between them, but obviously they're not.
Won't happen.
Second tiebreaker is compare their record based against.
Their records will be identical. Oh, yeah, it will still be identical.
Yeah.
Yep.
Third is compared based on record against common opponents with the best conference record in proceedings through the common conference opponents based on their order of finish within the. That's still a tie.
It's gonna be a tie no matter what with the current Big Ten rules. They don't have a way of.
It's going to get down to tiebreaker. If they're all undefeated, it'll get down to tiebreaker number 5, which is the representative will be chosen based on the highest ranking by Sports Source Analytics team rating score metric following the regular season.
Unbelievable.
I've never even heard of Sports Source Analytics.
Yeah. So let's look that up.
They decide who's going to play in the Big Ten title game.
Yep. Sports Source Analytics ranking tool. Looking it up right now. Oh, well, it's not that easy to look up.
I bet it isn't.
Whatever it is, that's what the Big Ten could be decided on. And I don't want that. I want a team. There should be teams with losses. Everybody's got to play each other, or you don't really have a chance of making it to that title game. So this Big Ten expansion is proving a little bit worrisome in my eyes.
I mean, if it makes matters worse, if those rankings are tied, then the commissioner is basically going to pick the names out of a hat. It's a random draw by the commissioner.
Yep. That's what it comes down to. Unbelievable.
Hopefully somebody just loses.
Yeah, we're going to lose to Ohio State. I promise you that. We're not beating Ohio State.
I'm already looking at the look ahead to take Ohio
State. 3.5. I'm taking Ohio State 3.5 for sure. Anyway, moving on to my picks. I'm going to be taking Ole Miss 20.5 points over Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma just lost to South Carolina by 30 points. They're not ready for the SEC. They're just not ready for the SEC. Ole Miss at home, they're going to beat the living crap out of them.
Yeah, I like this play. The only worry is Ole Miss has been a little inconsistent on offense, but Oklahoma has been bad. I mean, Lincoln Riley
defense
clearly took all the recruits and all the NIL with from the UNC.
It's not working over in Oklahoma. Rough welcome to the SEC. Next, I'm going to be taking Illinois 21.5 point underdogs against Oregon. Over 3 touchdowns is just too many points for me. This team just beat Michigan by 2 touchdowns. Vegas is riding the Oregon beating Ohio State high. Just 21 and a half, too much for me. That's really, I mean, Oregon's a good team, don't get me wrong. Just I see them winning this by 17.
Yeah, this was a stay away game for me. I like Illinois' defense. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring enough offense for this game. I mean, I thought Oregon would, have a little bit of a let off against Purdue, but they went out there and shut them out. This Oregon team may be legit, despite
Yep.
looking pretty bad in the first half of the season. They worked out the kinks.
I saw Purdue is ranked 2 or 3 spots above Kent State in terms of defensive rankings, with Kent State being, I believe, 142nd out of 142 Division One schools. Purdue is averaging giving up 4 points per drive.
Yeah, I get a little confused when you started using the words ranked and Purdue in the same sentence.
Yeah, we're talking about getting close to the very, very bottom here. They're like the 4th from the worst defense, with the worst being Kent State. Yeah, you're a Big Ten school. Grow up.
Doing against the MAC. Oh man.
Yeah.
Conference has a bandy.
Yeah, that Purdue team is abysmal. They're by far the worst team in the Big Ten. And lastly, SEC matchup. This is probably the game of the week in my eyes. LSU at Texas A&M. I'm taking LSU. LSU is my dark horse team in the SEC. I think they're going to be the second best team coming out of the SEC into the playoffs. They're lucky that they got that early loss against Notre Dame early in the season rather than later in the season, because it's looking a lot better for them now and they learned from it.
I don't know about this week's play, but them being the second best team in the SEC when it's all said and done, that is a scorching hot take.
I think they will.
Texas and Georgia.
I got them over Texas. Texas has fallen pretty greatly in my eyes after last week.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think they play on a neutral site and LSU gets dog walked by Texas. It's not even close.
Really.
Yeah, and Georgia.
Have
they played Bama yet? Did they play Bama?
I mean, Texas's wins this year. They beat Michigan. That's a good win, I guess. They beat Oklahoma. Cool, dude. Oklahoma looks really good, right? They beat Mississippi State, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, and Colorado State. And then they got shit on by Georgia last week. So once they start...
Sometimes you come up against Georgia and you get beat down. I mean, they're not the first person to get lit up by Georgia.
That's true. I think November 9th they're going to struggle against Florida. I think November 30th they'll struggle at Texas A&M. LSU is the second best team in the SEC in my eyes after what I saw against Georgia.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, they got two. If they are, they got 2 weeks coming up that they can really prove your point.
Yes.
They're playing Texas A&M, and then they play Alabama the next week.
Win those and they're good. Yep.
We'll see.
That wraps up our straight plays. Let's get into the parlays. Looks like we are both taking Penn State over Wisconsin in our parlays. Good pick. There's no way we're going to go lose in Wisconsin under the lights. Just absolutely no way. That'll be the most disappointing way to ruin our season.
Now you had to go say all that.
Yep.
Now it's going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, I'm seeing in the Penn State forums on Reddit, people are calling this the trap game. There's no trap game. We're going to beat Wisconsin. I have no worries there. For the rest of my parlay, I'm going to take Ashton Genty over 150 rushing yards. That's a minus 310 line, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, this guy usually gets to that clip in the first half, and this is against a team that they expect him to be playing in the second half. So,
yeah. And then we're going to take the over 31.5 for Ohio State and Nebraska. I think Ohio State can put up that.
Is that the total game over?
No, it's an alt line. That's an alt line.
Okay.
All 31, but I think the real line is 48.
Yeah, I thought that was a Ohio State only over that you were giving out.
Oh man! Then we're going to take another alt line, Maryland plus 9.5. wrap
Yep.
that up together with the PSU money line is plus 294.
Yeah. If Minnesota wins, they don't win by 10 points. So I like that one. I am taking Minnesota to win, though.
Yeah, you can win, but they won't cover 10.
Yeah. 294, that's pretty good value for three that I see happening pretty much for sure out of the four. And on mine, I have Penn State over Wisconsin. We talked about that. Minnesota over Maryland. I was trying to stay away from Maryland games, but this one just reeled me in. And Kansas State over Kansas. Kansas State has been cashing parlays for me. They've been the winning leg every single time. And Kentucky over Auburn. This Kentucky team's pretty good. They did falter against Florida last week, but Florida's also an undercover good team.
Yeah, I really like this parlay. I think Minnesota wins the game, but not cover. Kansas State is clearly the better football school of the state schools, and we're gonna take Kentucky over Auburn. Yeah, I like this parlay.
Yeah, 381, pretty good value there.
Two in a row. We're going for 2 in a row.
Yep, 2 in a row. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and good luck on your bets this week.